Hello and welcome to Budget Model Railways, and here we are today looking at a different N-gauge layout. Now there's quite a bit to talk about today, a bit about how I plan layouts and how we think about them and how we do them the way we do, a bit about serendipity and sometimes ideas coming together, buildings, wagons, so quite a bit to talk about today, so please stay with us. Now some of you will be saying, well, what happened to that layout, which was what the last one was about? Well, it's got a couple of flaws. Firstly, after playing with my other inglenook layout quite a lot, I realised that actually inglenook layouts are the best shunting, not passing loops. Just gives you a lot more opportunity and variety. With that other layout, the curve restricts what locos will go around, and it restricts very much what wagons will go around. So I was sitting on the AnyRail free software and decided that what I really wanted was an inglenook, but I'd like to be able to run some passenger trains. As if by magic, as they used to say on Mr. Ben, to show my age. That was originally a 3-car, but I can take the middle car out and make it a 2-car EMU. I've got single car diesel, and I've also got the Cato Pocket Line tram, and I'm waiting for the new larger tram when that comes in. So I've got some nice locos to run. And by good fortune, this board, so this is built on a floating shelf that came for £3 from my local tip shop. So that was the first bit of serendipity, that it's exactly the right length. Because if I run the passenger train back out, you'll see it fits exactly. And I wanted to be able to run locos and trains out this time so that I could alternate what comes in, which I couldn't on my other inglenook. So that was the first thing. So it's effectively a 4-siding inglenook. I still didn't have necessarily a concept of what to do, but some of the comments on the other layout were very helpful, because a lot of people suggest a single-use siding, which normally I don't like, because it only means you can run one kind of wagon in, but you can run empty coal in and bring full coal out, or vice versa. But that got me to thinking about, but then you've got to switch the wagons. And I was doing some reading actually on US salt mine railways, and they pointed out that a hopper wagon comes in empty, leaves full, but you don't need to change the wagon, it's the same wagon. So all I've got to do is add some kind of loading gubbins there, and I can have a single use there, but I can still use it as a mainline siding to serve the warehouse if I want. And this is when serendipity comes in. So I already had these buildings, thank you to Metcalf, I reviewed them recently, made sense to look at using them. But I had a big gap there that I couldn't use. And of course, if you think about hoppers, that tends to be grain. I remembered I had a grain silo, came years ago from Classic Rail Cheap. By sheer good fortune, these two buildings and that exactly fit the gap that I've got. So at that point, it's too good to miss, really. Excuse the noise in the background, we're next to a school playground. And these days they do activities in the playground all day. So we get it all day now. So that was really a bit of serendipity that actually now it's too good not to do. I've got the back scene there and they fit and they work very well. So I built a loading ramp here just out of cardboard. Now originally, on the original Metcalf pre-production version of this had a little crane jib, but it's not in the kit. But it was very easy to fabricate one. So that gave us the back. So that then got me thinking about the front. This is Metcalf's municipal building. I am just going to see if I can change the angle a little. Just bear with me a second. So it's quite a nice building. There we go. It's meant as a municipal building, so a doctor's or a police station or something like that. But I decided it would make a really good looking modern station. It's potentially a little big for that site, but this is a busy town. And the other reason I like town scenes is when you model a little country branch line, in reality, 1 train an hour, 1 freight train a day. By doing a bigger town scene, you've got an excuse to run a lot more passenger trains and a lot more freight in and out. I then needed to do something else, and I bought this a long while ago, cheap. It's the Metcalf Bank and Shop. And so I could drag that out and build that. So this was the whole sort of, all of a sudden, All the parts I want were coming together. I rather like the fact that they do it as a shoe shop, as on my other layout. I spent 20 years in the shoe trade, so I always quite like having a little shoe shop. As you know, I do like to put a little bit of autobiographical stuff into my layouts. So this is going to be the platform, typical continental low platform. We'll have a car park and a bit of a road here. Originally this was all going to be platform, but that's way too wide. And then that's when I realised, well, actually we can put some more detail in here. So it will work very well. I had hopper wagons. I had 6 of these. These are the excellent Pico kits. Train Tracks keep having extremely cheap Japanese wagons, Kato wagons, and that's a double bogie hopper wagon. I can't remember what I paid, about £10, I think, something ridiculous like that. So I've got plenty of wagons, and it'll give me a lot of use. By sheer good fortune again, I've got just enough industrial back scene from my other layout left just to go around that corner. And I only need it round that corner because this will just need a sky back scene because it's so high. I have some grimy old corrugated metal fencing there. Little bit big for end, but I think it will look okay. And that will go there. And so this is the difference. This is a layout where I realised quite quickly what all the elements were going to be and how to build them. The other layout, I was just constantly looking at it. What am I going to do with it? Yes, I could put a harbour in, but what do I do for the back scene? How do I hide the overbridge? This one, I'm just going to put a bridge in. I'm just going to put a metal industrial bridge there to hide the way out. So this was a layout where all the features, all the parts of it came to me and they were available. And as it happened, this and this were all pre-built. So that didn't take very long to build. And it is actually only going to take me probably a week to build this. Albeit that they additionally took me several evenings to build. That took me several evenings to build. So if I was building it from scratch, it's probably a month's worth of free time. I'm planning to get quite a bit of detail on it. Street lights, people, vehicles, really bring it to life. But these sort of compact, complete, N-gauge shunting layouts are really working for me. They work because you can just pick them up, put them down, play with them. It'll be self-contained. The controller will be fixed in again. Bit of room there for some wagon storage and so on. And this is the joy really of N. Quite a nice scene, doesn't feel too cramped. Bear in mind in O gauge, again, that would be 4 times the size, not double the size, because it's twice the length and twice the width. And that would be substantially bigger and would probably still look cramped. And in N, by using Kato, I've got very reliable locos and rolling stock. I am going to put cantenary masts on it. I'm toying now, once this is done, whether I might sell the inglenook one that I did before. Partly to fund this one and partly to make room for this one. But there you go. Another take on a shunting layout. And I think it's important that if you are going to do a layout, stop and think, what is it I'm actually trying to do? And I do think that a lot of people massively overcomplicate it. I see some things on Instagram, masses of sidings, this, that and the other. Yeah, you're never going to use it, guys. The reality is, if you want to shunt, inglenook is the best form of shunting. Chuck a siding in to run some passenger trains, bit of a fiddle yard, and that's probably all you need. Make it look nice, and you're away. So, bit of a change. We've gone right from one layout which isn't going to work at the moment. We'll put that to one side, to something that suddenly worked. It all came together at one time, which sometimes happens, and away we go. So, as always, be interested to know what you think. Certainly the whole, I've got, interestingly, another rule I saw the other day in a book was never mix cardboard and plastic kits. Not quite sure why that is, because they look great together. Just yet another one of these silly rules that we've got in model railways. It's very interesting. I was out on my little motorbike yesterday. I did quite a long journey to actually go and buy some cardboard. I stopped at a biker's cafe and was talking to bikers. And regardless of their age or what they were riding, not a problem. I'm sat there on my funny little Sinus 125 adventure bike, up talking to a lad with a massive great sports bike. He's still interested in what I'm riding. There's none of this snobbery that you get in the model railway industry. You can't do this, you can't do that. You're not a proper model railway person because you're not using ballast. It's not proper model railways unless you use DCC. It's really fascinating that in other hobbies, you know, when I was talking to a cross section of a motorcyclists, as long as you've got a bike, they're happy. There's no snobbery. There's no funny rules. They were quite happy to sit and talk about my little bike. And I nattered to a guy who'd got a 1970s KH500, which was rather nice. All very diverse people, nobody passing judgment on what somebody else does. And perhaps that's what Model Railways needs to do, is stop passing judgment. Just because it hasn't got DCC or static grass and my locos didn't cost £200 does not mean this is not a model railway, does not mean I'm not having as much fun as everybody else. And perhaps that's the attitude we need in model railways. That's my weekly rant over, and I'll speak to you again soon.